Hello and welcome. We're about to pull back the curtain on a massive shift in how your finances are seen by the taxman coming in 2026. This is a special deep dive developed by the brilliant team at My Tax Accountant to show you exactly what's on the horizon and, more importantly, how you can get ready for it. So let's jump right in.
Right. Let's start with a big one. Just think about it for a second. What if HMRC knew about that little side hustle you're running or those crypto trades you made not a year later when you file your return, but almost as it's happening? It sounds a bit like something out of a futuristic movie, doesn't it? Well, that future is arriving in 2026.
You see, the game is changing. For years, it's been about random checks, hoping you don't get that dreaded brown envelope. But that's all going out the window. The new foundation for everything, the absolute core of this change, is one word: data. HMRC is building a massive digital jigsaw puzzle of everyone's finances, and in 2026, they're getting the final pieces.
So, here's how we're going to break it all down for you. First, we'll look at this new data-driven era. Then we'll dig into the three massive pillars that hold it all up: the digital mandate, the transparency push, and a new professional standard. After that, we'll see how HMRC connects all the dots, and we'll finish up with a clear, simple action plan for you to follow.
Okay, first up, this new data-driven era. And I really want to stress this. It's not just a small tweak. It is a fundamental rewrite of the rules of engagement between you and the tax office.
Just look at the difference here. The old way? Random. It was a lottery. The 2026 way? It's surgical. Forget random audits. Now, if HMRC gets in touch, it's because their system has already flagged something. They'll be sending out these proactive nudge letters when their data shows a mismatch. It's a huge shift from hoping you're not picked to working on the assumption that they can already see everything.
So, how is this all possible? Well, that brings us to the first pillar, and honestly, this is the engine room for the whole thing. It's called Making Tax Digital for Income Tax.
So what on earth is MTD for ITSA? Well, in simple terms, it's the law saying that if you're self-employed or a landlord above a certain income, you can't use spreadsheets or paper records anymore. You must use special compatible software to keep your books. And this is the big one. You have to send updates to HMRC every 3 months, not just once a year.
And here is the first number you absolutely need to remember: £50,000. Starting from April 2026, if your gross income from your business or your rental properties is more than £50,000 a year, you are legally required to be on this system. And notice I said gross income. That's your total turnover before you take off any of your costs.
Let's put a face to this. Let's meet Aisha. She's a brilliant freelance photographer up in Manchester, doing really well, bringing in about £55,000 a year. For as long as she can remember, she's chucked all her receipts in a shoebox, and then, come January, she hands the whole lot over to her accountant. Well, from April 2026, that whole system becomes a relic. It's just not allowed anymore.
So for Aisha and millions of others, this is the new routine. 1. Everything has to be logged digitally in real time on proper software. 2. Every single quarter, she'll send a summary of her income and expenses to HMRC. This gives them a live feed of how her business is doing. And 3, at the end of the year, she still does a final declaration to sort out the final tax bill.
Now, if your income is less than £50,000, don't switch off. This is coming for you too. Look at the timeline. In 2026, it's the 50K group. But just 1 year later, in April 2027, that threshold plummets to £30,000. And a year after that, to $20,000. The message is crystal clear. This is going to be the standard for pretty much everyone, sooner rather than later.
Okay, here's a little pro tip for you. Please do not wait until the last minute on this one. HMRC is not giving away free software. You have to choose a commercial product from their approved list, and yes, you'll have to pay for it. So start looking now. Find one that works for you, have a play with it, and get comfortable well before you're forced to.
Okay, on to our second pillar: the big push for transparency. If MTD gives HMRC a window into your regular business, this next bit kicks down the door to areas that have been, let's say, a little bit murky in the past.
And first on the list is crypto. If you're involved in crypto, you need to listen closely. This thing called the Crypto Asset Reporting Framework, or CARF, kicks in from January 2026. Basically, it forces all UK-based crypto exchanges to automatically hoover up all your transaction data and send it straight to HMRC. The days of crypto being in the shadows are well and truly over.
And when I say everything, I mean everything. They'll get reports on you moving crypto even to your own private wallet.
They'll know when you swap Bitcoin for Ethereum. They'll know when you cash out into good old British pounds. And of course, they'll have all your personal details to match it all up. It's a direct data feed from the exchange to the taxman.
And if you're wondering why they're so keen on this, well, this number says it all. HMRC reckons this one change will bring in an extra £350 million in tax by 2030. They know there's a huge pot of undeclared tax in the crypto world, and this is their shiny new tool to go and collect. But that's not all. Stay with me here, because this next part of the transparency push is a massive deal, especially for the thousands upon thousands of contractors in the UK. We're talking about umbrella companies.
There's a new rule coming in called joint and several liability. The easiest way to think about it is like a chain of debt. Right now, if your umbrella company messes up the tax, HMRC chases them. From April 2026, if the umbrella company doesn't pay up, HMRC can legally climb up the chain and demand the money from the recruitment agency or even from the final client you're doing the work for.
This is a complete game changer. The risk has been shoved right up the supply chain. Suddenly, the agencies and the big companies you work for have some serious skin in the game. They can't just ignore dodgy umbrella companies anymore, because they could be the ones footing the bill for any unpaid tax.
Right. Pillar number 3. This one's all about quality control. It's about raising the professional standards for the very people who give you tax advice.
From May 2026, it's no longer a free-for-all. Any firm or individual offering tax advice for a fee will have to officially register with HMRC. And it's not just filling in a form. The people in charge have to pass a fit and proper person test, have no nasty tax convictions, and be properly supervised for anti-money laundering. It's basically weeding out the cowboys.
Okay, I can hear you thinking, so what? They're regulating accountants. How does that affect me? Well, actually, it matters a lot.
It matters because this gives you, the taxpayer, a whole new level of protection. You'll have peace of mind knowing the person handling your tax affairs has met a minimum standard. But even better, it's designed to force the unqualified, uninsured, and frankly dangerous advisors out of business. And that is a huge win for everyone. So, we have the digital data from MTD, the transparency data from crypto and contractors, and a properly regulated profession. So, how does HMRC stick it all together? This is where it gets really clever and maybe a little bit scary.
It's just like this equation on the screen. They take your quarterly business updates from MTD, they add the automatic data feeds about your crypto trading, they mix in all the other information they get from banks, employers, and government agencies, and what you're left with is the most complete 360-degree view of your finances that they have ever had. And with all this new data, they have a very clear hit list. They'll be looking at things like directors' loan accounts to see if they match up with what you're declaring personally. They'll be digging into business expenses, especially things like travel and working from home. Undeclared rental income is always a big target. And with data flowing in from over 100 countries, if you've got assets overseas, they'll know about it.
And this brings us to the big one, your lifestyle. This quote absolutely nails it. If your Instagram is full of pictures of you on 5-star holidays and driving fancy cars, but your tax return says you only earn £12,000 a year, well, their computer is going to see that massive gap and ask a very simple question. Where is the rest of the money coming from?
Right. I know that was a lot of information, and it might seem a bit overwhelming. But please don't panic. The whole point of knowing this now is so that you can prepare. Knowledge is power. So let's talk about your 2026 action plan. What can you do today?
Here is your 6-step checklist. 1. Find out your MTD start date. 2. If you're going to need it, start looking at accounting software now. 3. If you run a business, check your supply chain for any risks with umbrella companies. 4. Get into the habit of perfect record keeping. Document everything. 5. Have an honest look at your worldwide income and assets and make sure everything is declared. And 6, the most important one, get professional advice. Don't wait for them to find a problem. Get ahead of it.
Now, a very important bit of housekeeping. Everything we've talked about today is for general guidance. Your own financial situation is unique, so you absolutely cannot rely on this information alone. Before you make any decisions, you must speak to a qualified professional tax expert. And for that expert professional help, the team at My Tax Accountant is perfectly placed to guide you through all of these changes. They live and breathe this stuff, and they can build a plan that's tailored specifically for you and your business to get you ready for 2026.
You can give them a call on 028-570-8531, or you can drop them an email at info@mytaxaccountant.co.uk. And for more updates and helpful explainers just like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button on their YouTube channel.
So I'll leave you with one final thought. The rules are changing. There's no doubt about that. The era of data-driven tax is no longer on the horizon. It is here. The only question left is, are you ready for it?